Once more, Vesti and Behrman, the class of the field in terms of pace, yes, fifth, but Vesti will be looking to make that move in short order.
After Behrman made a bolt for it, he really did try to break away from the pack there before he pit stopped, and we'll see a flurry of activity. You've got to get to the end of lap 6 before
in the early laps, and then Pourchaire made that move, the ultimate pace of that Prema, maybe even a strategic match back into that early pit stop and take the medium loss
in this category to his name, and he will be trying to fight through on the medium. Can come at any moment, as we saw with a late crash at turn 15 yesterday. Now the fastest lap, softest available in the Formula 2 range that we'll use all year. Laps ago is now watching in the mirrors as Fittipaldi
keeps the friendly matched with Crawford ahead, or at least with the DRS, able to hang experience in a Formula 2 car as Théo Pourchaire. I doubt is going to let him do that. That is interestingly enough, with Martins on his gearbox. We know that the overcut is available. We know how hard it's going to be in terms of track position, while your rivals are skidding up, trying to build temperature.
Really, let's deal with this possible overtake first of all. No, Vesti's not in. Take a while for him to generate that tyre temperature. To Rouvelet, surprised to see him switch at the earliest possible opportunity.
We've got Leclerc, Boschon, a very specific window where they pitted and the rest of the field. A very important phase for all of these drivers.
Now bringing the tyre temperature in, trying to generate it himself. There's no tyre. Fittipaldi, after a tough day yesterday on the medium tyre, looking much happy.
Box this lap. Yeah, confirm, mate. Box this lap.
To cut to the pit lane, proper set of medium tyres on, which grid box is that Victor Martins is. Victor Martins in the background.
First of all, the road in Carlin being serviced by the position though over Crawford. That's important. So he's still got
seconds in these early laps.
Let's watch this lap.
Su might try the overcut, might try to go one more. Big slide through the exit of 15, no harm done.
So Taruvla on board. That is a Prema running out of tyres. You can see it from the exit of turn. Surely they will both come into the pits, mirror what each other's do, and that means no intervention for a virtual safety car or a full safety. And he is staying out on track, so he becomes the race leader. He takes Hadjar, who's to see where they are in relative to the other three cars. They were back
strategically. They were a long way ahead in realistic terms, weren't they? When they came, and the short as
Correa sending one to the inside.
Already scrubbed. They scrubbed them in practice on Friday, which is why they have that cut lane.
That's what we've been telling you about. Wonderful illustration of what they're doing. A long way back. Martin's stuck behind him. Trying to fall.
Why he's so far back. Yes. They'll now, while Behrman and Pourchaire pick up their stop. We're still waiting for Hadjar. We're still waiting for Verschoor.
But he's in no mood to wait around. Vesti being held up by Verschoor, and then the two drivers on the alternative strategy. Here is the move through. So we did see a yellow flag a few moments ago, and 15 is off the road again, and that brings out the virtual
circuit.
This is down at turn 4.
In warming it up, and then the flick turn, which I thought he put on Zane Maloney. Isaac Hadjar then, in the real terms, in the practical term, in the dams, behind him, but we're still expecting to see them. Reasonably likely, I would say, that Behrman, who is 12 seconds for them, Benavides' car moved back behind the wall.
Around the Baku City circuit, lap 11 of 29, just two stop under the virtual safety car, so they're continuing out there. They don't really have there. You can see there he is coming through the final turn, but we're focused a lot with virtual safety cars, and the green flag is out. We're back racing once again.
Tyres and brakes, and this will be a tricky few corners for them in close proximity. It could, with a late race safety car, the two-stopper would not be as difficulties we saw with a low-gauge medium tyre.
I am racking my brain. I can only remember one safety car. It didn't count as his mandatory stop. He said, okay, cool, on that strategy. This is the most obvious strategy we've ever seen Japanese driver, and Hadjar had really good pace in practice, but
I thought, you know what, I'm just going to cruise in, go long, see what happening in 6th place, still staring at the back of the road in Carlin of Fitz.
You look at his results so far this year, a 3rd, a 2nd, and no
year I think you just got to keep going at this stage and recognise that it's going to be
backwards. And that was all coming in first. He came in at the first, obviously he's picking his way back through, but compromised race when he was about 10 seconds from his damage limitation. Teammate up there in third, that's the net race lead. Vesti trying to pick his...
Prema really gave him the hurry up over the radio at the start of the race, potentially the issue, but we return to the front of the field in down towards T1.
So Vesti has now picked his way through all of the drivers that are avoiding action, and Daruvala's passing is all for nothing.
Zane Maloney had to make a little bit of avoiding action there, the pit stop procedures. Let's just cover this off with Daruvala. Gets himself in, but yeah, difficult movement for Daruvala and all the good work.
Was so close to the wall for Behrman, if not brushing for anything out there. Chasing the double around this circuit. Same applies to Behrman and the young talent. Pourchaire, runner-up last year, trying to come back and win it all in 2020. The halfway, intriguing battle for the win between Behrman and Pourchaire.
See drivers with pace like that don't quite get the results opportunity to change all four tyres. Those little bits of how pushing on. The reason he's pushing on is that particular lap, tail push.
Oh, millimetres away. Fittipaldi with the far up. We're at very close to midday local time. And as we head into in now, Mighty once again doing a great job of forgetting about
some brilliant and utterly invisible tyre management going on. Never recovers. The way that these young drivers have built that and consideration in a way that sitting at home,
the insights from two-time Le Mans podium finisher Alex Brunstop phase as well, and that was down at turn 1. It's under investigation. That's not been noted. It's under investigation, so that really means we.
Yeah, it's two moves, isn't it? I think Daruvala might escape that one purely on the basis that, I mean, what is my shoulders up to my ears and make a screwed up face when they
undo the damage in the orange MP Motorsport car. First time they took the title last year, MP Motorsport, they'd restructured, could have been 2 yesterday, got away late on. That's a feeling that Daruvala gone for a 10-second time penalty for Daruvala for leaving the track and
it's a big deal. You can have a very rejoining, well, not rejoining, who was continuing on the circuit. Another angle of that, actually.
Lap out of these engines, turbocharged on the way down. They're off strip as he powers down to turn number 1, and this
to add to the potential loss through 18 and 19. Possible Hauger looking to the inside, but that tailwind. This is what happened to Jahan Daruvala.
Yeah, so let's review this. He's going to go deep. He's going to take a
left there. Not that you can see a huge amount left out of a car like this.
Rush with the wall that time.
It's almost the line, isn't it?
It is this one. Left of that concrete block by the end of the weekend. It has taken some punish. Gap. Teo Pourchaire, it's 2.2 seconds at the moment, and you've got Fittipaldi back managed. But there is a telling amount of tyre marbles off the racing line here and off the race.
Lock a brake and just career straight into the side. Oliver Behrman through this phase. The pace of the Prema Red Bull liveried cut, and a Miney in his white. And that's the battle over the
brink in this one. Same point system as Formula 1 at the moment. Is very much had this thought for about 10 laps now, but they're not set.
Turn 1 and have now built temperature into the medium. I think Jerez, he pretty much got the hang of it.
Yeah.
And I think it's the even or in free practice and qualifying, down to lack of familiarity of team discussion and driving.
Their story of the race so far, immaculate first lap for the field. They were looking at race lead that he still holds. Vesti lost out in the pit stop as we tick into the final stages.
The interesting thing is Hadjar and Iwasaki, they might aim to come out. Whether they'll stay, because they'll, as we see Leclerc rearranging the Tech Pro, no, just keeps it out of.
As he's 1.9 seconds away from Pourchaire. He's best for all in his career. He's been able to do that a couple of times. 6
step forward, really was the leading light in the Shrews.
Especially when it's a team that doesn't traditionally run at the front, which has been the case.
About jumping in a car that you might not expect to be at the front, and the mission comes when you're in a car in a position to perform. And you're in the system, you're required to perform, you're accountable to someone at start to the year than he might have been expecting, as a driver that many tipped
fourths and fifths. If you're consistent, two great drivers to show you. Who's a multiple race winner last year, including at this circuit. How
was that sage wisdom, another piece of feeder series paddock wisdom? Yeah. The problem is the competitiveness is such that if you're not trying to win, you'll, for example, like with Hulkenberg, where we know he's got race winning potential, but he fights for it, and it's not always worked out.
Yeah, yesterday he felt sorry for and unfairly biffed out of it on the restart in Australia, so at the moment racking up another second on the march. One is an MP Motorsport car, he's the one chasing us. Much better balance, a much better understanding today with the Rodin Carlin team. Porsche going to fight that one.
Yeah, around midway through this stint, Porsche just started for second place in this race with 6 laps to go. So he on the road as well, setting personal best first and middle. He's on the limit of keeping the podium, bizarrely, after pressuring the leader of the race.
Rather than podium, there's the defence. Fittipaldi knows he's got a big originally based in Miami in the last couple of years, but he always likes he given room to turn the outside line to the inside line. Enzo
Fittipaldi, brave stuff and very fair stuff, it must be said, from Teo Porsche. ART jumping in with Deruvula, he's going to make the move again.
And this was the move for what will become second position, only fourth at the moment.
Particularly leading the race, they left him out there as long as possible, waiting for the 5 laps to go on a set of super soft tyres. Tyre was not that much better than the medium, so there will be.
It's just a qualifying tyre. It's losing performance by the end of even one push lap. With the tyres up to temperature and into the DRS zone, so still a little bit of. And Vesti miles back, getting shuffled back in that pit stop phase. When we had a driver well on the way to victory, late mistake, and
lose concentration and make a mistake, especially around a circuit like this. Meanwhile, Aldi, which in turn is keeping him out of trouble from Martins for now.
Mini chicane that they've got on the way in there, the race director's instructions will always say. A while back now, about 40 minutes ago.
Sure, they will get to the end of this weekend at a crack in the chassis they didn't know was there, or something similar, because chill out, in the lap and still win the race.
It's a nice sentence to hear. Seen drivers ignite a championship bid. Antonio Giovinazzi in the past, 1 year later, Charles Leclerc with an extraordinary performance, being another incredibly strong performance by a Prema driver. Drivers who have done the double in the second tier, well, you know their names.
But he actually did bleed.
You said chill out. Hold on a minute.
Bit of hassle, but was the fastest first sector of the race last time around from 50. Yeah, maybe doesn't need to keep on pushing on a little bit in the closing stages.
They're still learning as they're going. They're roughing off the edges as they can. Academy prospect and Formula 3 champion. It is on a different prospect of closing out a feature race win. There he is in your
day, when basically the full management of the Ferrari team pit lane in that car to deliver the victory.
Victor Martins is close to Teo Porsche. Which really tells the story of Martin's season. Great pace, but quite learned. Teams do their homework. Teams improve. The ones who put the hours in get the rewards.
After yesterday, consideration of all of the limited per square inch of tyre pressure becomes even more critical when there's done a storming job on that super soft tyre.
Showing the pace that he had overall, and extraordinarily in this contest. Look at how close the top 4 are.
Championship management going on from all 3 of them. Perhaps less so from Martin across the line, but it's been a good battle between these 3. A great drive.
Traditional finish, and what a performance for Oliver Behrman, who isn't scrapping with these 3. Oliver Behrman, who won the sprint race yesterday, and now he looks up, but it's Fittipaldi in second place. Teo Porsche takes it, who makes up places once again. It's Hauger, big 2, but this has been a statement weekend for Oliver Behrman.